You bought another spatula. Not because you needed one, you have three. You know you have three. One of them is still in the bag from the last time you bought a spatula because you forgot you had a spatula. And yet, there it is on the kitchen counter. Spatula number 4. Looking at you, judging you, wondering if it will ever see the inside of a pan or just wait in a drawer next to its brothers until you eventually move and throw all of them away. This is adulting. And somehow this was supposed to be the easy part. The thing nobody tells you before you move out is that your brain is going to spend the next several years in a constant low-grade panic about having enough stuff. Enough dish soap. Enough trash bags. Enough of that specific kind of sponge that doesn't scratch the pan that you also bought 3 of. And because your brain has decided that running out of something is the actual apocalypse, it will simply refuse to track what you already have. It will just keep acquiring, quietly, endlessly, like a squirrel who forgot where it buried every single acorn. You have 5 bottles of shampoo. You know this because you counted them last Tuesday when you ran out of conditioner and had to improvise, which is a whole other story. But the point is, you were standing in your shower, making decisions with your eyes full of water, and you saw them all lined up there. 5 different brands, 3 of them the same size, 2 of them clearly from a phase you went through where you were going to start being the kind of person who does a hair routine. Did you stop buying shampoo after that? No, you did not. Because when you were at the store 2 days later, your brain said, "Do we have shampoo?" And your brain also said, "I genuinely cannot remember." And then your hand just picked one up and put it in the cart, and now there are 6. That's the cycle. That is the whole mechanism, and it runs completely independent of what you actually own. It starts innocent enough. You move into your place, you're stocking up, you're being responsible. You buy dish soap and paper towels and that little thing that hangs on the shower head that you'll never figure out how to install correctly. You feel like an adult. A real functioning adult with a shower caddy and everything. And then you go to the store the next week. And the week after that. And somewhere along the way, your brain just stops updating its inventory. The internal database freezes. It still thinks you're in that first week. Still thinks you're starting from nothing. So every time you walk past the cleaning supplies aisle, it quietly whispers, "We should probably grab some more of that." And you do, and you do, and you do. You have 4 rolls of tape, not 4 in a multi-pack. 4 separate individual tape rolls in 4 different places in your apartment. Because every time you needed tape and couldn't find the tape, you bought tape. And then you found the original tape. And now you have a tape situation. The tape situation is what gets you. Because you remember buying every single roll. You remember the specific moment of defeat each time. The birthday card that needed wrapping at 11 p.m., the box you were sending to your mom, the one time you tried to fix something on the wall and used half a roll and felt weirdly proud of yourself. You remember all of it. But your brain could not connect. I purchased tape too, I have tape. Why? Why does this happen? Here is what nobody explains when they hand you your first set of apartment keys. Adulting requires you to hold an enormous amount of invisible information in your head at all times. Where your lease renewal date is, what your deductible is, even though you still aren't sure what a deductible actually does. Whether you have enough in your account before you use the card or after. When you last changed the filter on the thing in the kitchen that has a filter you think. Whether you paid that one bill on the app or just opened the app and then got distracted and never actually finished paying it. Your brain is already running at full capacity, just keeping you upright and employed. It does not have bandwidth left over for tape inventory. It never did. So it does the only thing it knows how to do. It defaults to buying more. You have 6 sets of earbuds. Okay, that one escalated. But hear yourself out. The first pair died. The second pair was a replacement. The third was a nicer pair you got because you were going to take audio seriously now. The fourth came free with something, maybe a phone, you can't actually remember. The fifth was for the gym, specifically for the gym. They were supposed to stay at the gym, except the gym never happened, so they came home. And now they're in a drawer. And the 6th were the ones you bought last month when you couldn't find any of the other 5. 6 earbuds, all of them technically yours, none of them currently connected to anything. And the best part? The part that really cements the whole experience? You still don't know where 3 of them are. You own 6 pairs of earbuds and you cannot locate 3 of them right now. You just know they're somewhere in this apartment. Somewhere with the tape. This is not a you problem, by the way. This is an everyone problem. This is a fundamental glitch in what it means to manage a household when nobody ever actually taught you how to manage a household. You watched your parents somehow always have dish soap, somehow always have the right batteries, somehow always produce a roll of paper towels from a closet that seemed to be infinitely stocked. You assumed that was just what happened. You assumed adulthood came with a system. Nobody handed you the system. There is no system. There was never a system. They were also just guessing. So you got to your own place and you invented your own version of the system, which is, when in doubt, buy it. When you see it on sale and aren't sure if you need it, buy it. When you pass it in the store and your brain does that vague, uncertain shrug, buy it. Better to have it than not have it. Better to be safe. Better to be prepared. Better to be the kind of adult who has supplies. You have 4 cans of chickpeas. Why? When did this start? You bought them because you were going to cook more. Real cooking. Interesting cooking. The kind of cooking where you just casually have chickpeas. You found 2 recipes that used chickpeas. You felt inspired. You went to the store and got chickpeas, and then you got home and made pasta again, because you were tired, and the chickpeas have been sitting there ever since, waiting for their moment. And then you went back to the store and forgot you had chickpeas. And here is the cruelest part of all of this. The reason your apartment is slowly filling up with duplicate items and backup items and things you forgot you had and things you bought because you couldn't find the first thing, so you bought another thing, and now both things are somewhere in the apartment in a kind of object standoff. The reason all of that is happening is that you are genuinely trying. You are trying to be the kind of person who has what they need, who is on top of things, who doesn't run out, who is prepared. You are trying really hard, and the result is 4 spatulas and 6 earbuds and shampoo for days. Nobody who is truly failing at adulting has 4 cans of chickpeas. Those are the tick picks of someone who had a plan. Even if the plan never happened. Even if the chickpeas will eventually leave the same way they arrived. Quietly. In a grocery bag when you do a big clean out and feel vaguely guilty as you put them in the donation bin. Even if it ends like that, you had intentions. You were trying. You bought the tickets, and maybe that counts for something. The real move, probably, the thing the actual grown-ups are doing that nobody told you about, is something called a running list, which is exactly what it sounds like and feels slightly embarrassing to admit you weren't doing. A note on your phone. A literal piece of paper. A system that tells you what you have, so your brain doesn't have to guess and panic, buy another set of batteries, when you have a completely functional 8-pack sitting in a drawer with the tape. But even if you start the list, even if you implement the system, even if you get really genuinely organized about this, there will still be a Tuesday night where you're looking for scissors and you can't find them, and you'll think, you know what, I'll just grab a pair next time I'm out. And then you'll find 3 pairs of scissors in a single drawer and feel a specific kind of emotion that doesn't have a word yet. That emotion is just adulting. You are not bad at this. You are doing exactly what everyone does when they're handed an apartment and a shopping cart and no instruction manual. You are acquiring. You are surviving. You are occasionally buying a spatula you didn't need, and you will put it in the drawer with the others. And someday, when you actually need a spatula, you will have 4 ready to go. That is not failure. That is just what happens when you try to hold it all together with no training and a grocery store that is trying very hard to sell you things. You bought another spatula. You probably needed it.